In some countries, political tensions, military conflicts, economic sanctions, and decades of foreign policy have created significant anti-American sentiment among parts of the population. That doesn't mean every citizen dislikes Americans. In fact, millions welcome American visitors every year. But in these countries, public opinion polls and political attitudes often reveal stronger criticism of U.S. policies than elsewhere. In today's video, we're counting down 10 countries where anti-American sentiment has been particularly noticeable in 2026, based on international surveys, political developments, and historical context. Let's begin. Pakistan has had a complicated relationship with the United States for decades. Although the two countries have cooperated on security and economic issues, public opinion has often been divided. Many Pakistanis admire American universities, technology, and business opportunities. Thousands of students still dream of studying in the US. However, issues such as drone strikes, changing foreign policy, visa restrictions, and disagreements over regional politics have caused many people to criticize Washington. Political leaders from different parties have also used anti-American rhetoric during election campaigns, influencing public debate. Despite these tensions, American tourists continue to visit Pakistan, and many Pakistanis maintain close personal and family ties with the United States. The disagreement is usually directed toward government policies rather than individual Americans. Relations between Venezuela and the United States remain extremely tense. For years, economic sanctions, diplomatic disputes, and disagreements over leadership have shaped public opinion. Government media frequently portrays the United States as responsible for many of Venezuela's economic hardships. Supporters of the Venezuelan government often repeat these narratives, while opposition groups tend to hold more balanced views. Even so, many Venezuelans continue to admire American culture, movies, and educational opportunities. The political conflict doesn't always reflect how ordinary people treat American visitors, but it has significantly influenced national attitudes. Since the war in Ukraine and years of worsening relations with the West, anti-American messaging has become much stronger inside Russia. State television often portrays the United States as Russia's primary geopolitical rival. Economic sanctions, military support for Ukraine, and diplomatic confrontations have reinforced this narrative. As a result, public opinion surveys show many Russians view U.S. foreign policy negatively. At the same time, younger Russians often continue to consume American entertainment, technology, and sports. This creates an interesting contrast between political messaging and everyday cultural influence. Few countries have experienced a longer period of political tension with the United States than Iran. The relationship has been strained since the 1979 Iranian Revolution. Sanctions, nuclear negotiations, regional conflicts, and military incidents have kept tensions high for decades. Iranian state media regularly criticizes U.S. foreign policy, contributing to widespread skepticism among many citizens. However, numerous reports have shown that many Iranians distinguish between the American government and ordinary American people. Visitors often describe warm hospitality from locals despite the political differences. This demonstrates how government disputes and personal relationships can be very different. China and the United States remain two of the world's biggest economic powers, but they are also strategic competitors. Trade disputes, technology restrictions, tariffs, semiconductor controls, and disagreements over Taiwan and the South China Sea have all contributed to growing tensions. Government media in China often portrays the United States as trying to contain China's rise, while American officials have expressed concerns about national security, trade practices, and human rights. Because of this, public opinion in both countries has become more negative in recent years. Yet the picture is more complicated than politics alone. Millions of Chinese people study English, follow American sports like the NBA, watch Hollywood movies, and use products created by U.S. companies. Likewise, many Americans admire Chinese history, cuisine, and culture. The relationship between the two countries is defined by both competition and cooperation. While political disagreements are significant, they do not mean that every Chinese citizen dislikes Americans. Attitudes vary widely depending on age, region, and personal experience. Number 5. Cuba. Just 90 miles from Florida lies one of America's longest-running political rivals. For more than 6 decades, Cuba and the United States have experienced periods of sanctions, diplomatic disputes, and ideological differences. The U.S. trade embargo remains one of the most recognizable issues shaping relations between the two countries. The Cuban government has frequently criticized U.S. policies, arguing that sanctions have harmed the country's economy. This message is regularly reflected in state media and political speeches. At the same time, many Cuban families have relatives living in the United States, especially in Florida. Tourism, culture, music, and family connections continue to link the two nations despite political disagreements. For many Cubans, opinions about America are complex. Some criticize U.S. foreign policy while still admiring American culture, technology, and educational opportunities. Number 4. North Korea. North Korea has one of the most hostile official relationships with the United States anywhere in the world. For decades, government propaganda has portrayed America as the country's primary enemy. Military exercises involving the United States and South Korea, international sanctions, and North Korea's nuclear weapons program have all intensified tensions. Unlike many other countries on this list, information inside North Korea is tightly controlled. Citizens have very limited access to independent international news, making it difficult to know their genuine personal views. Most public attitudes that outsiders observe come from official government messaging rather than freely expressed opinions. Because travel into North Korea is heavily restricted, very few Americans visit the country. Diplomatic relations remain extremely limited, and political tensions continue to dominate the relationship. Number 3. Belarus. Belarus has become increasingly aligned with Russia in recent years, especially following international disputes over elections, sanctions, and the war in Ukraine. The United States has imposed sanctions on Belarusian officials and organizations, while Belarusian leaders have strongly criticized Washington's foreign policy. State media often presents the United States as interfering in the country's internal affairs. These narratives have influenced public discussions, particularly among audiences that rely heavily on state-controlled news. However, as in many countries, public opinion is not uniform. Some Belarusians are critical of U.S. policies, while others remain interested in American education, business, and culture. The political relationship between the two governments remains strained, contributing to generally unfavorable official attitudes toward the United States. Number 2. Syria. Coming in at number 2 is Syria, a country where years of conflict have deeply affected relations with the United States. Since the outbreak of the Syrian civil war in 2011, the U.S. has been involved in the region through military operations against ISIS, support for certain local groups, humanitarian assistance, and sanctions against the Syrian government. These actions have made the United States a major focus of political debate inside Syria. The Syrian government has consistently accused Washington of interfering in the country's internal affairs, while U.S. officials have defended their policies as necessary for counter-terrorism, regional stability, and human rights. As a result, public attitudes vary significantly depending on where people live, their political views, and their personal experiences during the conflict. Despite political hostility, many Syrians continue to admire American education, medical research, technology, and opportunities abroad. Thousands of Syrian students and professionals have sought to study or work in the United States over the years. This highlights an important reality: political disagreements between governments do not always reflect how individuals feel about ordinary American people. Number 1. Afghanistan. Taking the number 1 spot is Afghanistan. Few countries have experienced a longer or more complex relationship with the United States. Following the events of September 11, 2001, the U.S. led a military intervention that lasted nearly 2 decades before withdrawing in 2021. The years of conflict left behind a complicated legacy. Some Afghans remain grateful for investments in education, healthcare, infrastructure, and humanitarian programs. Others criticize the long war, civilian casualties, political instability, and the difficult aftermath of the U.S. withdrawal. Different communities within Afghanistan hold very different views, and opinions have shifted over time depending on local conditions and political developments. At the same time, many Afghan citizens continue to hope for stronger educational opportunities, humanitarian support, and future engagement with the international community. Afghanistan's position on this list reflects the long history of conflict and political tension, not a single, uniform opinion shared by every Afghan. Final thoughts. As we've seen, public opinion is rarely black and white. The countries on this list have experienced wars, sanctions, diplomatic disputes, ideological conflicts, or major geopolitical disagreements with the United States. These events have shaped public attitudes in different ways. But it's important to remember one key point: no country speaks with one voice. Every nation includes people with a wide range of opinions. Many individuals may criticize U.S. government policies while still welcoming American visitors, enjoying American culture, or maintaining close friendships and family ties with Americans. International relations are constantly changing, and public opinion can shift as governments change, conflicts end, or new partnerships emerge. Understanding these differences helps us move beyond stereotypes and appreciate the complexity of global politics. Outro. If you enjoyed this video and want more in-depth coverage of global politics, immigration, travel, and international affairs, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update. Question of the day: which country on this list surprised you the most, and why? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.